Well, it's funny.
As soon as it turned on, you were taking over the goal.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the
It's early. Is Mama gonna come and sit by us?
Stop. Are you gonna sit by us or no?
You can wait for 1 minute. Yes, I'll come.
It's Stacy.
Oh, is that what he's saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You have a clock on your phone.
Hello.
Hi, Jeff.
Morning,
I don't
can't
hear you. No, it's probably us. Let me switch. Oh. Heck. Oh, wait, I heard it for a second, maybe.
You need to turn off.
It's not that. Okay, say something else.
I'm going to Cabo soon.
Yes, I heard that. So good to see you. You've been working, huh?
Yeah, busy doing other crap, really.
Yeah. Well, busy's good. Yeah, good kind of busy.
Busy at the hospital mostly. So,
Mm.
yeah. I dropped my doggy off for dental surgery this morning, so
Oh, no.
I'll be a wreck all day.
Pulling teeth or,
Yeah, cleaning and pulling teeth, but it's general anesthesia and she's old, so just make.
yeah.
Do you guys have your Cabo dates pinned down yet?
Yeah, I've booked flights and everything.
You
Let me
did?
look. I'll tell you. I did it quite a while ago, actually, but I can
I
pull
did
it up.
too. I might change my flights though. They bumped me to later and I don't love that.
They bumped you.
Right, there was a schedule change apparently, so the flight gets in later than I want now.
Oh, they bumped the time. Gotcha.
Mhm.
So Cabo flights, itinerary. So we go Sunday, March 3rd,
Yep.
and then we come back Sunday, March 10th.
What are your flight times on the 3rd?
We arrive, well, we're departing Salt Lake at 8:10. And then we're departing Cabo at 2:12 on the 10th. So 8:10 a.m. on the 3rd and 2:12 p.m. on Sunday.
What,
The
so
10th.
what time do you get into Cabo on the 3rd then? Is that like 40 or something?
11:40.
That's an early flight. Okay.
Yeah, I like to try and go early when we're going there and in the afternoon when we're coming back home.
Right.
So we don't get home just because there's probably a time change, but we don't get home till 6:30 p.m. on Sunday the 10th.
Okay. Yeah, they have me getting in at like almost 5 p.m. now on Sunday and I
The
don't love
3rd.
that. And I'm, yeah, traveling solo, so that's not my favorite thing in the world.
Are you going through Salt Lake?
I wasn't. I have a direct flight this time from Seattle, but I don't know. I might change it, mix it up a little so I can get in earlier. I might come through Salt Lake. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, I can't remember if Eric's going the same days as us or.
He's not booked quite yet, so I figured I'd see if I can change mine around and then he can match ours.
Oh, gotcha. Hi.
Where do you guys want me?
Um. Go ahead and sit over here. I'll just move the camera. You guys can sit right there. Say hi to Stacy.
So this is Penny.
Hi.
Stacy, this is Hillary.
That's friend of our member.
Hillary is the newest member of Team Limitless.
Welcome, welcome. Hi, Hillary.
Oh, you
Lynn,
can't
nice
see
to
Stacy.
see you at the office.
Let me put this up. on
I know,
the
we
monitor.
can't see what you can see. You're probably just looking at our boobs, sorry.
Looking at your boobs.
Yeah, that your
It's
camera
our
was
height.
right at our boobs.
It's got like a wide angle.
Oh, does it? Okay.
It doesn't zoom in that much. There you go. Now I can move this over here.
Your boobs are great though, so it doesn't matter.
Thank you, I'm so proud of them.
Oh my gosh. But we get to see each other soon in the heat.
I can't believe it's
We
2
were
months,
just talking about that.
So excited.
right around the corner.
Yes,
It's gonna be here.
my
talking
hands are
about
cold. I can
Cabo.
already feel them warming
The-
up.
EXP's build event for attraction and stuff like that.
Okay,
It's in Cabo. It's good.
that sounds amazing.
It is. It's in March.
Okay. If he gets to go to that, if you like, is that like a recruiting kind of thing? Like if you recruit so many people, you can go?
No, anybody can go. It's open to anybody.
But it is a recruitment
People,
one.
Stacy, do you have somebody going with you? Or I know Shantae has a couple of non-EXP agents going.
I don't have anybody with me this time, no.
Is Rhonda going?
Rhonda's going to Cabo at the end of this month with family and friends, so she is not going back in March.
Gotcha. So anyway, yeah, it's open to anybody. The people that tend to go are those that are interested in building an organization and having some people join EXP with them. So what's cool about it is you get to meet so many different agents and one after another on the stage, just talking about how they came over to EXP and why and how long it took them sometimes and years before they actually moved. So those stories are really cool. Then you get to meet people, but the presentation, the conference part is only 3 hours a day.
Okay.
And then the rest of it is just beach and pool and meeting people and networking.
It's like the level of people that we meet
Mhm.
because, you know, not everyone's, you
Yeah.
know, go-goers or trying to get better every day like we are. And so I like surrounding myself with people like that. And you could be sitting next to someone that has this massive team that has 250, you know, agents in their group or whatever, you don't even know it. And then
Yeah.
you meet them and they tell you their story. It's just a lot of fun. You know, stories
Last
are
year
what
we-
make it.
He had a bunch of production stuff last year too. I had Bill
Mhm.
Pipes there that did a lot.
That's true. There was a ton. There was a
Yeah.
ton of production because the market had shifted, right? And there were a lot of people that were like, okay, I gotta go find a full-time job. And they're like, okay, this is all you need to do. Just put this as your full-time job and go.
So in the spring, they have it in Cabo, Mexico, but in the fall, it was earlier this year, but in the fall, generally late summer, it's in Texas. So Stacy was there last time, was just talking about is normally they just talk about agent attraction and growth and how the company and new things that they're doing and all that kind of stuff, but they had it a whole day in there on just on increasing your production last year, because last year was a shit show for agents. You know, interest rates going up and all that kind of stuff, so.
Actually, did you see that clip that I shared
Hey, Nate, hey, Kim.
yesterday?
Hi,
from
Nikki.
Rocco?
Morning.
Good morning.
That sounded really
Morning.
exciting, Nathan.
Who's iPhone 5?
I see Nikki. Hi, Nikki. Hi, Kim.
Hi, Nikki. Hi, Nathan. Hi, Stacy. I don't know who's sitting next to you, Lynn.
Oh, Kim, this is Hillary.
I'm new.
Hi, Hillary.
Brand new.
Hillary is, yeah, actually our new, just a week, last week
Yeah.
or the week, yeah.
Something like that.
a
Welcome
week.
to the
Listen
team.
to, yeah.
She's going through the fun transitional stage of figuring out what she's doing.
Right, yeah.
And she's like getting all the bombardment of all the different opportunities and options she has, and she's just spinning. But it's a new year. We always spin on a new year, right?
Yes. We try not to because everybody's spamming us this time of year.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah, it's amped up, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
How are the Clarks doing?
I just put something in my mouth, sorry.
That's why I asked you the question. No, I'm just kidding.
That's fine.
I just looked at the screen and saw you.
Share.
Yeah, Ash, let's get started.
Shayna, you guys are going to Cabo this year too, aren't you?
Yes, we are. Very excited.
Sure, yep.
Yeah.
So now I just need to open this one up on my computer. And this can go here. Actually, I'll leave it right there for you guys. Oh, It does that all.
Welcome, everyone. We've got the wrong date. I've got to point it out because I.
That way you don't point it out to
That
her,
way
she
nobody
points it
points
out
it
to
out
you
to me.
first.
January 8th.
That's your way of saying, I know. No, it's okay.
Okay, I'm trying to get this clicker.
Wait, Eric, can you hear us? How you feeling, buddy? Eric kind of got a bug last week.
I love that. That's
I'm catching up, man. It was a rough week.
Well, I changed our.
Good, are you on the mend?
Yeah, for sure.
Good,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Still getting rid of it, but
It's spring heavy, so it's like.
it's almost there.
Awesome, well, give your body rest or whatever it needs.
Thanks, man.
Well, we're super excited to be here for the new year.
Yeah,
I can't believe it's already the 8th.
what do we have,
That's
2
insane.
weeks off?
Yeah, we
Team
had
meeting?
quite a few weeks off. We haven't had team meetings since the 18th of December. So,
It was weird that she said that because in a way it seems like it's been a really long time, but then another, it's like, wait, we just did that.
Yeah,
So,
right?
It's just like a
it
lot
feels
goes
like a
on.
long time to me. So, we've got Lynn starting us off this week with some opening thoughts. And, she gave me this cute little graphic.
That
So-
is so you too, that's like, this is literally almost to a T, a little sunshine smiley face that you've drawn forever, like from your dad, the little hands and stuff.
I drawn for the grandkids, I've drawn them, I used to put them in, little notes in my kids' lunches, just different things, but they always had a sunshine and realized that this is kind of my theme, right? So this is how I feel going into 2024, and that's why I want to share it. Because, I'm just feeling really good, really happy, really excited. And, I gotta,
Recap what
Oh,
you
recap.
ended with last time, since it's been so long, as far as the, the words you use, and you ended us last time, and now you're kind of starting us this time because of.
my mind is in a totally different place than where I was then.
So my notes on my agenda was the thoughts that you shared with us last time, were paying attention to the thoughts in your head and the words that you use. Catch yourself saying words like need to, or I have to, instead of get to, an opportunity and stuff. So you talked about just kind of the words you use.
And my quote was,
When the going gets tough, the tough get going.
okay, so let's go with that. That was a really big word, a really big saying throughout the whole last recession for me to get me going. But when Jeff just read that, and the reason why I asked him to read it is because of the word tough. When I hear that in my mindset right now, I don't want to hear tough. I want to hear exciting. I want to hear, where am I going? How am I growing? How am I going to get stronger? How am I going to get healthier? How am I going to love the business that I do? I don't want to feel like I'm getting up and doing something I don't want to do. I want to get up and feel like I'm doing something that I do want to do. And we all have a different point in our life that become our goals. It depends on where we're at. When we're in our 20s, it's going to be totally different than when we're in our 30s. And then when we're in our 50s, totally different than that. I'm following a lot of things about becoming, staying strong and healthy into your later years. Now, why is that important to those of you that are younger than me? Because if you start now, then when you're my age, you're not going backwards and trying to fix the things you didn't do right before. So feeling super, super strong, happy, excited, but that I'm one of those people that love new starts. Hence new start properties. I love new starts, love new start to a week, new start to a day. And so then I'm really on fire when it starts to a new year. And maybe everyone doesn't feel that way, but I do. So I come on with a lot of energy, a lot of excitement. Someone gave me this journal last year, and I was not in a mind space to even open it. It's called To Do Planner.
Mhm.
And the reason why I wasn't in a mind space for it was because I had to write down what I was grateful for. And there was just different things that I needed to do on, it has a, what am I grateful for, my appointments, my to-do list, my notes and stuff, my water intake, my meal tracking, health and fitness. That's what's on each page for every single day. This year, I actually felt like filling it out. And the things that I fill out the most are what I'm grateful for. I have a to-do list, but what am I grateful for? It just shows that your shift in mind and perspective, this is what's in charge. It really is. I mean, health, obviously, Kim, you know, your health is a major, major component of that. But your mindset and your mind shift and being excited for what we're doing and what you're doing, it actually draws the right people to you. I watched my mind shift and all of a sudden I got a call for a listing appointment. It's just weird that way when my intention is in a different place. And
I think
just,
when you focus on things, many of you have heard it said that when you, express gratitude, you're given more things to be grateful for.
Mhm.
And there's always something to be grateful for.
And it's easier said than done when you're overwhelmed or overworked or whatever. It's getting yourself into that place of this little sunshine guy of feeling like a kid again and doing a cartwheel in the yard. I don't know if any of you ever did that, but I did. You know, I would just be happy and excited about the opportunities of raking the neighbor's yard or, you know, going around the neighborhood with a little business card about my new landscaping, you know, business I was going to start. Find what makes you happy and excited. I made the post, some of you may have seen it about the money tree. That was, I did that because that was kind of like just something that meant something to me. And there's so much backstory to it that most people don't have, that they don't understand. So I'm going to give you a little backstory because I think some of you might have seen it. So Ashley and Sydney were in competitive volleyball. And the cost for that was, gosh, I can't remember exactly, but it was a lot of money every month. And we traveled a ton. And one of my greatest joys was to be their team mom so that I could actually take them healthy food in their team lunches and food. Whereas a lot of the other moms took muffins, pizza, just bagels, just garbage. And I was trying to fill them with protein and vegetables and fruits and things like that. Anyway, when the economy changed, all of a sudden I was in a position when we couldn't pay I could pay our bills as long as I took the rents from this month and paid, you know, as long as I was moving my money around the right way. I was a full-time job, just moving my money around to make sure, but I had my kids in these competitive sports that it was a choice. It was a choice. Do I keep them in their competitive sports or do I let them know, you know, we can't afford it? So I went with my tail between my legs to the lady that owned their club. And I was just in a position where I've never felt before, where I couldn't afford it. So I wanted to make a payment plan, see if there's any way I could keep them in. And she is a lot like Jeff. She said, you know, because he's always an optimist, right? He's always like, well, there's a will, there's a way, you got this, you know. But I was really embarrassed. I went in and I said, you know, this is our situation. She just said, hey, and she's really doing very well financially at that point, because there's a lot of wealthy parents that had their kids in the club and they were doing fine. And she just said, you know what, Lynn, I just go to my money tree and I just ask for money and it just comes. And I just want to punch her in the face. I was, you know, it was really tough. It was
Scared Hillary a little bit.
I did.
Who says that they're a money tree?
It was just, to me, it was a mockery of my situation. That's how I heard it. That's how I felt about it. And anyway, it's actually about mindset, I think, you know. And if you look at it a different way, then you can turn it around with words, and you can try to turn your situation around with different words and different feelings and a different mindset.
What's interesting is you talking about it now, you're talking about it, you know, you have the money, what's the kind of tree that's called a money tree?
It is a money tree.
It's just called a money tree.
There is a money tree, yeah.
But it doesn't.
It's a real money tree, but I've never seen a real tree until the day I went and showed that house.
So anyway, the point I want to make is you wanted to punch her in the face. I mean, because of the space you were in, so you couldn't see her perspective on what she was talking about.
Making a mockery of me, yeah.
Because of where you were.
Mhm.
you know, if you weren't there and you would have heard the same thing like you're talking about, like your post could have maybe even offended somebody, right? Depending on where they were at.
Exactly.
And so, you look at it differently based on your mindset and where you're coming from. You were not in a good place then, and now you're like, you're looking at all the positive things she meant by it
Mhm.
because of where you are now.
Right, right. Anyway, those are my thoughts for today. Be a sunshine in the lives of everyone right now. I feel like right now, a lot of people are learning more about themselves. People are excited about a new year, fresh beginning. Realizing that as a collective, if we can keep our energy high and our vibrational energy high, I think that we all do a lot better and that we need each other. That's one other thing. If you need people, get around people, please get around people. I did a workout class with a very full class and realized how much energy I get from other people. Went to the same workout with 1/3 of the class, and most of the energy has to come directly from me. It's really crazy. But I was in there going, you know what, I need people. That's why it's been such a struggle for me for the last 3 years since COVID, because I do need people. I need to be around their energy. This is great having you guys on Zoom, but I can't feel you. I can feel you when you're in the room. I can feel her. I can feel him.
Can't reach it to you.
It's actually, yeah, and that's what I did with Ashley the other day, is I just balled up a bunch of energy and I said, okay, I'm gonna give you a ball of energy and I'm gonna throw it to her. And so I sat there and I worked on it and I literally heard the ball go to her. I could hear it.
She knocked you over.
This is me on drugs. No, just kidding.
No. Does anyone have any comments or anything to add to what Len's been saying before we move on?
Yes, there's nothing wrong with drugs.
Takeaway. So, Lynn had mentioned before, she didn't talk a lot about it today, but the words we use are super important. Do any of you have words that you catch yourself using, like need to or have to, or, you know, that are kind of like have a negative connotation that could be changed?
Yeah, I'm really good at using overwhelmed.
Mhm.
You know,
Anxiety.
overwhelmed, like too much going on, like kind of like just those over words, I guess. I'm really good at using
How
those.
about I need to do a CMA, or I need to go meet with a buyer or seller? Instead of
I
I
have to
get
do a
to,
listing appointment.
yeah, I have to do a listing appointment. It's not that I'm saying it that in those, I don't say it drug out like that or upset like that, but the word is not an excited word. It's a, I get to, like, when I had that listing appointment, like literally he called me that day, wanted me to meet him that day. I already had a full day, but I got so excited. And in my head, it was, I get to do a listing appointment, right?
Mhm.
So just catch yourself on those things. And once you do catch yourself, I don't know, it's, what's the word I want to use? I want to say strengthening, but it's not strengthening.
Empowering.
Empowering. See, see why he's good for me. I don't have the words. He's got it. Love it.
I know you.
I know.
You know, optimism's huge. One of the podcasts, or I think it was Mind Valley, Vision on Mind Valley, was talking about productivity and success in appointments, like you're talking about a listing appointment, and having that emotion going into certain events or things that you have to do, a positive emotion. So he suggests things like maybe, you know, watch a comedy skit or something on YouTube or whatever, so somebody telling jokes, it makes you laugh, get you into just a lighthearted mood, or read some motivational comments, use the right words, because the optimism going into a situation instead of the wrong words, oh man, I have to go do this, or you're switching that with, I get to go do this, just that alone feels different when you say it.
Well, and I was just thinking when you were saying that, is that I know that Shayna and James and Eric, who have been doing a lot of listing appointments lately, they know that they are the best person for the job. They know it. So you walk in and you know you're gonna protect them, you know you're gonna help them, and you just go in with that mindset. You're not going in with that mindset of gosh, I hope I get this because I gotta pay my mortgage this month. It's like, I know I'm the best person to protect them and I'm gonna do a damn good job. And that's what comes across when you go into those appointments. And that's just,
Feel it, they can feel it for
Mhm.
sure.
yeah. The end. What's next on our list?
We had, some people on the chat, Nikki said, I say I need to, or we need to, and Stacy said, I can't, gotta stop that.
Can't, yeah, cancel that one.
And, I feel like I can't, especially as a tough one, because it's like a statement. It's just like, I can't do it, and then, I mean, you've heard the quote, whatever it is, that it's something of, along the lines of like, you can or you can't, whatever you say is right, or.
Yeah, if you, whether you believe you can or you believe you
Yeah.
can't, you're right.
So I like shifting those words and changing those words, and I think that's an awesome focus for the new year, for all of us to be thinking of. And we shall move on, we're gonna do some of our recognition, and we've got Hillary in the office for, I think everybody has met her now. Yes? She's brand new to our team, we're excited to have her, and, we're just really excited for the new year. And then we've got some new cappers that came on, Heidi and Murray. And then we're gonna go through and talk about, for our market conditions today, we wanna talk about the panel that we're doing next week.
So next week on our Wednesday training, rather than it even be here at the office, we're gonna do it at Edge Homes on Bangor Highway, just off of I-15, that's where their corporate office is. Janine Otley's gonna sponsor that for us, and we've got an appraiser, we've got a lender and his assistant, and we've got a really great title officer on there. Different perspectives of the industry from these three different segments. We're all in real estate, but they all see different things and are gonna have a unique perspective. So I'm excited for it because I like discussion. I like participation. So a panel discussion is just that, not necessarily a presentation, and we get multiple opinions. So I want your guys' opinion. As we go into this panel discussion, this is gonna be a great, presentation, event, I guess you could say, for you guys to invite the agents that you work with, or that you want to get to know better, to offer them some value, to get them to participate in this. And yes, we are going to broadcast it on Zoom, just like we always do our Wednesday trainings. But if our take on the market is kind of the title of it, and it's multiple people that are going to give us their take on the market. So knowing that this is coming up, I kind of want some input on you. So let's say you are registering. One of the things I'm going to put on that registration form is what do you hope they talk about? What question do you hope gets answered in a discussion like this with these expert professionals and what they're going to share with us on their point of view? What would be an expectation going to something like this that you hope gets discussed? Anybody?
Can I bring something up? In doing a market analysis right now, we're in kind of a weird spot. So if you look at the past comps in the last 60 days, you're gonna have one number. You look at the actives, you're gonna see another number under contracts, and then like it's changing because our inventory is changing. So as we've watched the ups and downs that we've had the last 5 years or so, when you get into a situation like we are right this minute, and I don't know, it depends on the price range you're looking at. And this is a good question for Andrew, the appraiser, is like, so for instance, the product that I'm gonna put on, when I look at what I'm up against, I've got like 6 houses across all of Salt Lake that have the same parameters my house has. If I look at the solds within the last 60 to 90 days, a lot of those are for sales. People are selling during the holidays because they need to or have to, not because they chose to. So it's going to be low numbers, but then if you look at the people that are actually starting to go under contract now, they're getting a little bit better. And I don't have anything up against me. So if someone has to buy right now, my product might be, they're willing to pay for it at what it was selling for in the summertime. So it's kind of
It's important to pay attention to the trends.
it is, and that's what's, exciting about having a group like this where we can see, because I have my perspective. I'd love to see what you guys are seeing out there when you're trying to do an analysis for your people. And how did your open houses go? Are people coming out again?
Open house has been pretty slow on our end, that's for sure. I think it's going to pick up for sure, but I think the numbers are still a little bit low and slow at the moment. But I think to answer your question, Jeff, I think the questions I would want to have is, first of all, talking points and perception of what's happening in the market right now, because we get a lot of predictions, and I know that's our, our take on the market. Where is it right now? We heard predictions a year ago, 2 years ago, half were right, half were wrong, right? And it's hard to predict what the market's going to do. So I like real information right now of where we're at, and addressing what needs people have. Like if somebody really wants to move now, somebody really wants to buy their first home now, somebody really wants to sell now, what does that mean in today's market? And then, maybe a broad picture of 10, 20 years, what does that mean? But personally, what I'm kind of feeling like we get too much of is what's happening in the next 6 months or a year. And I feel like that's really, really hard to predict.
Yeah.
Or a year and a half. It's just like that picture is really difficult. So if somebody wants to make a move or a change right now, a buyer or a seller, or both, what does that mean today for somebody? And then you can incorporate it into the decade look, like the really, high altitude view of it, because we all know what that looks like. It's always a good time to invest and purchase real estate. And I think this is one of the better times in the last 5 or 10 years right now, when you're looking at a 10-year view. But those would be my thoughts.
Thanks, Eric.
Eric, I feel like, we're gonna hear a lot of that. This is what we've been told is coming. The 3 or 4 interest rate drops, because how many times did you tell clients last year when we were told interest rates were gonna drop? I think it was in May. How many times did we hear from Josh? And it wasn't just Josh, there was a lot of them. Oh yeah, we've been told this is the exact month, this is when it's gonna happen. And of course, we go off of that data, and it didn't happen. Well,
I agree with Eric that we need to consult with our clients on their situation today.
Yeah.
People get so hung up on history. If you're gonna go off history, look backwards and look at what real estate does over time. But then trying to predict when it's gonna happen in the future is what keeps people from taking action, because they want to time it just right. It's like trying to, buy the stock when it dips, and nobody ever does. That's when they sell it. It's like, oh shit, my stock's going down, they sell it. Right? So what are their needs today? I mean, Eric, that's a great focus, is talking to them. What are you trying to accomplish? What are your goals? Because time is going to even correct any mistake you make in real estate. I bring up properties that I've bought in the past all the time, and what if I would have paid more than it was worth at the time? Well, looking back, you go, still would have been a good deal. And everybody goes, oh yeah, I would have bought 3 of them. It's like, yeah, would you? Because we're talking about today.
No one else would.
At the time.
Yeah, yeah.
So today is today. So what can you do to, when you look back and say, I'm sure glad I took action. I'm glad, because interest rates are high, there's no doubt. People are trying to time their purchase for when they go down. How about time your refi? Because the properties are going to be worth more. So I love that, Eric. That's a huge talking point. I think that's the discussion that needs to be had with clients, to let them know that you really are not just in the business of selling real estate. So that's not why I'm saying it's a good time to sell. It's like, I'm trying to consult you so that you don't have regrets.
That old
I have a
saying,
comment on the open houses here in a minute. Go ahead, Eric.
I was just going to say that saying that anyone is telling you that they can predict the future is trying to sell you something. So
Yeah.
kind of the same thing here. But I think it's a really good point, Jeff, that over the long term, any mistakes you make they get corrected over time. But today's needs of a client, I think, is the most important thing to really focus on. And that's what I want to talk about. That's what I look at when I'm looking at the market right now, is what is your situation and what are your goals and where are you trying to get? And in most cases, you can figure out a way to help people and give them, the right direction and information so they can make a decision based on whatever the current market conditions are. Jeff, do you know what the seating capacity is for this event?
We are gonna be comfortable with 50. So we'll probably try and register 60, hopefully. And then, because some people don't make it. So it's a great conference room. We're gonna have lunch, of course. But yeah, we're not doing it at the Board of Realtors or the Miller campus like we've done in the past. This isn't a big event like we've tried to promote in the past. This is just a change of venue for our weekly training, and hopefully this many different professionals will draw us a pretty good turnout.
Well, I think you and anybody that's been in the industry a long time, they can look at all the cycles and they can talk the talk. But for newer agents, this kind of thing is important to be able to draw on, because at least I know Corey and Andrew have been in the industry for a really long time. And so they can help give you your talking points. If you don't have the experience, sometimes you don't talk like you have the experience. But if you can pull other people's experience, and I think that is why I think this is such an amazing topic for agents that don't have.
There will be a ton of takeaways, take notes, things you could tell you, talking points is what Eric brought up, the talking points and examples, right? If you don't have stories, use somebody else's. Like Lynn and I, we bought our house in 2006. And so from 2008 to 2013, it sucked that we bought our house in 2006, and we were hoping that we were gonna even be able to save it and keep it. But you know what? We probably wouldn't even be able to afford it today. So that period of time where it's like, oh no, what did I do? Talking about, time curing so-called mistakes in real estate. Yeah, we call ourselves blessed and fortunate now, where before it was like, oh shit.
Well, Mom, I really like your point that you just had about drawing on the experience of other people. Because when you're not out there, you're not, like you are doing multiple deals every single month, and it's changing so quickly. You have to be able to have these kind of conversations to talk with people to find out, well, what is happening right now.
And people can tell by the way you talk whether you're telling them the truth or not. Like, they're listening to your words, they're listening to your rationality on why you're using the words that you are. And like, that was happening to me just this last week. And because of the courses that we've taken and the experience, it's all together. I could tell him why I felt the market was where it was, and it made sense to him, and he was analytical. So you've also got to know who you're talking to, because a person that's not analytical, that is the way I've acted the first part of this day, that's an emotional human, they don't like the numbers and the analytics. They just want you to tell them you've got their back,
Well, and you'll get some of that stuff from this discussion. I hope you're all going to be able to attend this, because you can start off your comment was, I recently learned that, or I was listening to one of my partners and professionals and they explained it this way, right? And that also gives you the confidence to don't try and be, I'm the expert on everything, but I have experts around me, quote other people or reference these lenders and appraisers and the presentation they're going to give. They're going to talk a lot about client experience and a lot of different things. But James, you had a comment that we kind of moved away from. So rather than continue, I wanted to hurt back to you.
Okay. Oh, what I was going to say, I was going to make a comment about our Hope open houses and then somebody else's open house. So ours, we've had, I don't know, we've done one every weekend for maybe the past 3 weeks. Shannon can correct me. I'm just going off the top of my head, but we've had between maybe 0 and like 4 or 5 groups come through. So I think it really it really depends. And then I would say, and also somebody came through the open house 3 times. And so there's that. But also, so I dropped an MLS number in the chat, which is only useful for Utah people. But this home, I'm looking at it right now, it's been on the market for 6 days. It had an open house and it had 25 groups go through.
Wow.
My point in saying that, it just really depends. Like if you look at this house, it's between 80 and Immigration Canyon right there off of Foothill, and it's listed for 950. And it looks pretty nice. It's a flip. I know the general contractor who did it. And I also saw somewhere on Facebook, which is always a fantastic source of information, someone was asking if the flipping market is good now. And there were just a list of people like, no, this is garbage. This is a garbage time. And other people like, this is fantastic. I'm doing really well. And that's basically can happen in any conversation. You have these two extrema on both ends. And it really just depends on which side you want to be in, or whether you want to be in the middle or not. We're doing open houses for our people because that's what they want us to do. They don't necessarily know that it's not efficient or whatever, but they feel good about it. So we're kind of going off of that side. And they're exactly how kind of Lynn described is they just want to know that we have their back. They don't necessarily even care about the other stuff. And so that's what and that's becoming reiterated during our conversations. So that's what we're doing. And that's why we're doing those open houses and stuff. I had another point, but I can't really remember what it was. But I guess it just kind of really depends. And I think one thing to kind of keep the energy high is just make sure you're doing everything you can be doing. Like these people staged this home. It looks really nice. The one that we're doing open houses on, they're still living in it, but they really love to decorate. So they kind of staged it themselves. And I think it looks really good. So as long as you're out there contributing whatever you can, you're going to have a more positive mindset. And then you're going to have a good lookout of regardless of what you're doing. But if you're like, oh, I should have done this, or I could do this, but I'm not going to, yeah, you're going to start sliding down into that negativity, really. So I don't know. My current mindset, which it might change tomorrow, is I don't give a shit what other people are thinking. Mine is just going to be, I'm going to make the most of this situation. I don't care if I have to shovel snow for 2 hours at this house for people to go up in there and do the open house. I'm just putting forth the effort and putting it out there. And well, I was going to say a really bad word, but I won't. So the end.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, James, because yesterday, so I had an agent do an open house on the home that I have right at the base of the canyon. And for somehow she didn't close the door all the way, and the back door was open all night. And so my client has cameras throughout the house and sent me a message. I'm in Hotworks with Ashley in my little Lulu shorts and a tank top. And she's like, the door's wide open. And so I hurry and leave Hotworks, and I was shoveling snow in my little Lulu shorts and my tennis shoes yesterday because someone was going to go show the house. And my client said, Lynn, I'm so sorry to, because they could see me out there. And I'm like, thank you for allowing me to be needed. Because honestly, that is one of my motivators, is to make people happy and to be needed. And so we are sitting there just talking about health, fitness, everything as I'm shoveling their walk and feeling amazing. And I don't know, life is good. And to be able to do those things for people, you can look at it one way, you can look at another.
So we're talking a lot about perspective, right? James, I like that you brought out the Facebook comments, how some people say, oh, it's a crappy time to flip homes. And others like, this is the best time to flip homes. I mean, often, and maybe you've heard it said that we don't believe what we see, but rather we see what we believe. And so those that have an attitude that there's opportunity everywhere are more likely to see opportunity than those that think, oh, this is a shitty market, there's no deals, da, da, da. Well, that's what they're gonna get, right? Like Ashley mentioned earlier, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. So choose to see opportunity and choose to see positive, and that's what you'll see.
What's funny about this conversation, or if you listen to, like I listen to a lot of Andy Frisell and Ed Milet and those people. And then I'll also like the beginning of Mike Sherrard's course, or like another real estate book I read, is mindset. That is always the first thing. It's always so emphasized just over and over from kind of what I'm gathering. So I think that's kind of a more of a universe speaking to me, which I hear it and I'm working on it. But if it's that important to all these people that we view as successful, and it keeps coming up into like our Team Limitless meetings and the trainings and stuff like that, there's something to it. So it should really be a major focus. I mean, I don't want to put a major focus on you guys, but for me it is. But I think because we're here and we have this conversation over and over again, we reiterate it. That's just a sign to me how important it is, and one of the first things that should be worked on for myself.
Amen. Amen.
Hallelujah.
I totally agree.
I think that's something that we're excited about with this panel too, is the people that are on the panel are people that are like us and that they care about others. And a lot of what we started the conversation off on for the panel was that the whole concept of providing value over, whatever your price point is. So because our market is shifting, you have to be able to stand out no matter what the prices are, right? And so if you're there and you're there for people and you're providing value to them and you're listening to their needs and you're helping them in the right direction, you're going to stand out in any market. And I think that's kind of a little bit of the point of this panel, is that providing value is going to help you stand out over and above knowing all the stats or
Yeah.
what the interest rates are. Or
And I think the conversation will go that way too. It's like, kind of we've talked about here today, is like, it doesn't really matter what the market conditions are. It's just what they are, right? So you'll hear Corey talk a lot about what Ashley just mentioned, providing value over cost. That's relative to us too, right? There's been a lot of talk about commissions nationally and wanting to, change the whole structure and this and that, and people saying you're not worth it or whatever, but are you? So you come from that place of offering value to your clients, and Corey creates a client experience that keeps people coming back and back and back to him. And he runs a top-notch referral business as a lender.
Can I attest to that? I can attest to, we did so much business together when I was a new agent. And anybody that comes back from those experiences, I'll always ask them, do you want to talk to any other lenders just to see what the costs are and compare? And every single time it's like, oh no, Corey works so hard for me. It's so weird how they're all like that. I mean, now, no, my accountants, my engineers, they don't normally go with Corey. It'll be my people that it's more about the experience than it is, okay, I've got these 4 lenders, this one's gonna do this, will you match this, will you match this? Then they go save $100 at title, so they wanna go to this title. They're not looking at how amazing and how people respond, they're looking at the dollars. But to be honest, the team, the responsiveness, those people are the ones that make the deals happen. I've got a domino of 4 right now, and I've got one person in there that I know is not integrous, and it freaks the heck out of me because he could blow the whole deal by just not being honest. So having a good team is so important.
Well, yeah, I've even had people that have come back and have used Corey in the past and bringing up that conversation of comparison. Literally, they'll say, I don't care. I don't care if it costs me more.
Well, and that's, probably how the Clarks feel about Alan too. Alan makes an amazing experience for their clients. So yeah, teams are important.
So anyway, we'll move on from this, but to invite to this and attend this, it'll give you some great talking points moving forward, to just create a better experience for your clients.
a better agent experience.
And this is right, it's in Draper, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
this is
just
great.
right on Bacon or I-15.
It's at Edge Homes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so we can move on. We've kind of touched a lot on the next topic, which is just like, oops. Okay, which is our idea sex, which is kind of coming together about all of our opportunities, our wins, our challenges, market conditions, and then kind of if anybody has any current or upcoming client needs. does anybody have anything to add to this topic? I feel like we've kind of been touching on this as we've been talking about the panel, but,
The squirrel likes to go all over the place.
I'm not gonna say anything first.
You're not gonna say anything first.
No, put somebody in.
Okay. All right, we'll just go ahead and move on then. Last week we had our overview and we had a smaller group, but it was, ended up being really good conversation. And, I think that just goes to show the support with our team. And, I thought it was great.
Yeah, we had Hillary on Zoom. You weren't feeling very well. I'm glad you're here in person today. The Clarks were in here. So, Shane and James, you got any comments on how our overview went last week that we didn't do an overview?
It was the best non-overview that we did.
It really is, and that's what I love about you guys. I mean, it was a really good conversation, and it just kind of motivated me, and yeah,
It's
so.
like getting a whole different type of vitamin. You know, it's collaborating and talking together and coming up with ideas, kind of like your idea, Sex, of how, you know, we can go out and hit our week, our month, our year together. And, you know, one idea spurs another thought. And as a collective, because our personalities are also different and our experiences are also different, it helps us move in the direction we want to go.
Well, we've got another training coming up this week, and it's Sydney. She's gonna be talking about up leveling your brand. And just so you know, Dad, she wants the words to stay how they are, so she up level.
I know,
is
I
her
made a
word.
comment.
And then
Shouldn't that say level up? She
find
said,
out
nope.
how to fuse it within your branding is also like, she's very specific because she has a very specific vision of what she wants to help people create. And that's something, by helping them find their own strengths and their own, I want to call it like magic, is essentially what she's doing with her branding
so
consulting
cool.
business.
Yeah.
And
She gets to the deep and nitty gritty of why you do what you do, and then that's how she helps you figure out the brand that you want. It's been like, she gets a lot of people in tears from what I hear, because they
Very
get
personal.
so deep about what is really driving them and what motivates them.
I like that the name of her company is Soul Spark Creative, and she kind of, I'm not gonna explain it as good as she does, but she helps people find what sparks their soul. You know, where's your passion? Who are you and what drives you, and just like would make you excited to get up in the morning. Knowing that and defining that and drilling down there first creates the baseline, so you can now brand that.
So remember why we have these lunch and learns. We have these lunch and learns to help other people, not just ourselves. So if you know anyone that's struggling in their business, or you can tell that they haven't quite found what it is, it doesn't matter if it's a real estate agent, it's a title person, it's someone that has their own
any
restaurant.
business owner.
Any business, please, let's fill the room, let's bring in some energy and some excitement. But that's what these are for. These are not just for us that are on here. This is for other people. It's to get people in a room together so we can create some spark, you know, and some energy. And help people grow, because that's how we grow.
Well, that's the whole vision of
EXP.
the whole vision of EXP, but the whole vision of better agent experience and just providing that for other people. And so, yeah, anyway, invite to Sid's training. It's gonna be great. And then we've got these are our other upcoming trainings. We've got the panel that we talked about. And then we've got, actually, we have a tax accountant coming in. This was someone referred by James and Shayna. And she's gonna be talking about like unlocking wealth and just different tax hacks. So a little bit more on the strategic
She has a
side of
real estate
things.
background too, right?
And yeah, and Sheena, if you wanna chime in at all on, what Linda's about, but yeah, she does have a real estate background. In that she
Also,
worked.
she is, I'm pretty sure she's licensed in multiple states, so that's helpful.
Yes,
This is a really big one for real estate agents. Again, if you know any agents, I don't care what brokerage they're at. So many agents do not know how to do their own bookkeeping, especially those that are really high interactive. They don't know books.
Mhm.
So for me, it's a vital part of why we even survived was because of my knowledge of finance and the work that I did with our bookkeeping. So yeah, definitely if she's good, like Shayna and James say she is, and she worked well with the company that she did before, which I think they're really amazing if they have their business together. It's worth it for people to come to this.
Knowing the tax game is a big part of your business, guys.
Huge.
I heard when I was young, I heard the saying, it's not as important how much you make as it is how much you keep.
Mhm.
So there's rules to the game, and those that do better just know the rules better than those that don't.
As an example, my mom, who is 25 years older than us, always had her real estate business as a self-employment income. So if she made 300,000 a year, she was paying a third of that to tax. And she would always complain about it, and she'd have her taxes that she was paying. And Jeff and I tried to explain to her, put it in an S corp, you know, make your business. You have your rentals, you have your you have your commission income, and this is what you can do with that. And she wouldn't listen to us because, you know, it's Jeff and Lynn, but there were years where it had so much write-off that we didn't have to pay tax, and she was still paying that third. So it's so important. I wouldn't want to lose $100,000 if I didn't need to.
Yep. So that'll be a great one. What's that
yeah,
one?
it's good one. Then we have Josh Thomas. He's gonna be talking about renovation loans, which I honestly haven't heard a ton about. So I think that will be a good one for us.
because if it was mine too.
Just to be able to learn some more about those different types of loans. And then, we've got our overview coming up the beginning of February. And we've got lots more good trainings coming up. I gotta get all the registration pages up and everything, but we're booked out through April right now. So we've got a lot of good stuff coming. And then we are going to end with Jeff today.
I forgot all about this. Okay, guys, we're gonna do a little drill, okay? Paying attention, it was like, it's kind of a game, kind of not. But I want you to get out your phones and open up your stopwatch. Okay? Stopwatch on your phones, y'all got one. Let me know when you're ready.
Already.
Okay, so we're gonna do a couple of different parts here. I want you to push start and then write the numbers 1 to 26 in order as fast as you can, and then hit stop on your stopwatch. Okay, just hit start whenever you're ready and go. Let me know when you're done.
Done.
Done. Okay, write down your time.
Done.
Now below that, I want you to hit start again, and I want you to do the letters of the alphabet, A to Z, as fast as you can. Write down your time when you're done. Were you faster?
I was faster at my letters.
I was faster with letters too.
Guess it makes sense, you write your letters more than numbers.
True.
Done.
Everybody, we got your time recorded?
Yep.
Eric, you still writing? You on J?
I'm good.
I think someone's doing homework.
I'm just kidding. Okay, now here's the final one. Now I want you to start your stopwatch and alternate between the numbers and the letters. And write 1A, 2B, 3C.
Like on 2 different lines or?
Do the same lines, but alternate back and forth between the numbers and the letters. Ready, go.
Were we supposed to go to 26 seconds again?
We're hitting our timer to see how long it takes us.
Yeah, you're supposed to time yourself, but you're supposed to do the numbers 1 to 26 and the letters A to Z, but alternate your lines. Do a number, then do a letter, do a number, then do a letter.
Well, I skipped a letter.
Oh, see that's a good point.
Yeah, I might W at the end.
That's a good point I didn't even think of.
Why W?
I don't even remember where to give this credits, where I learned this, but it was in one of the books or the podcast or something I was listening to lately. Dispelling the myth, when people say that they're good at multitasking. Okay, so I'll share my numbers with you. I wrote the numbers 1 through 26 in 19 seconds. I wrote the numbers or the letters A through Z in 14 seconds. But it took me 1:04 to write both letters. So double the amount of time to do the exact same tasks. Well, yeah, but I did both lines. So you add up, so that's 34 seconds. 33 seconds would be the combined total of my first 2 tasks, 34 seconds, then 1:04. So it took me twice as long to do the same tasks, but switching back and forth. Often I jump around like that in my business, and I got my email open, I take a phone call, I do this, and at the end of the day, I'm like, what did I get done today? A little bit of a lot. And so intentional focus for me means putting on headphones. I have an app called Brain FM where I can go to creative flow, deep thought, different things, and it's music, instrumental music only, the certain vibrational sound that helps me kind of get in that zone and concentrate. And what it does when you have the headphones on is it blocks out everything else. You lose distractions. And it's amazing when I do that. I can set my timer for 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes, whatever it is. Inevitably, every time when it's over, it's like, holy shit, it's been an hour and I've been on one task and I get so much more done. So somebody else share their times and experience on that little whatever task.
Okay, my numbers were 19.35. The letters were 13.95, but the combo was 55.58 seconds,
Similar to mine.
That's
Mhm.
fast.
which is a total of 88.88. How can you do that?
Hey, 888 is the frequency of abundance and prosperity. You know
There
that?
you
That's the
go.
frequency. Mhm.
There it is.
Okay, so what was the brain? Was that HM? What did you say that was?
Brain FM, kind of like a
FM.
radio
Thank you.
FM, Brain FM. It's just an app, but it really helps me focus.
There's a book called The One Thing, and they talk about this whole thing that there's no such thing as multitasking. It's everything's half-ass if you do it that way. And so, yeah,
It really is. And I'll let Hillary talk, but she mentioned when we were done, oh shit, I missed a letter,
Yes.
right? So we're not as efficient either, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Your alphabet doesn't have a what, a W?
We
No,
both,
yeah, W.
we both missed the
Yeah, we
W.
both with W. That's crazy. I think this is a great example because for me, sometimes even on the days where I'm like going back and forth through all the things, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm getting so much done, I'm getting so much done. And then the end of the day, I'm like, what did I get done?
Big
But
difference between being busy and productive.
yes. So I think this just, and I think also help where you create a good environment for yourself, that's super helpful, is to create a good environment to do the things that you want to get done. And focus on those things that you want to get done, not just the things that are being thrown at you.
So use your imagination now. What if there was 4 tasks we did before then I asked you to combine them and do one of each of the 4? How much longer would that have taken than just the 2, the numbers of the letters, right? Because sometimes we're juggling 4, 5, 6 different things throughout the day. So what this tells me, here's my takeaway. It was double the time just to do these 2 tasks than it was to do them individually. So if I'm focused, I could come to work in the morning and work like 3 solid productive hours and go home and go do something else. And I would have gotten done the same amount of work that a 6-8 hour day would have taken me if I'm jumping around. Something to think about. You know, you use your imaginations and think about days that you've had, like Ashley and I are sharing about, where work. Oh my gosh, it's the end of the day, but I don't really feel and I can't really see that I got that much done. So just by organizing differently, eliminating multitasking and say, okay, I've got a list of 10 things I got to do today, but I'm not going to work on all 10 at once. If I can start with number 1 and stay on number 1, literally by this example, we might be done in half the time with those 10 tasks than if we were jumping back and forth.
I'd be really interested, Eric, because I feel like out of all of us on this call, you are doing the most of many things because you have a lot. Do you do that? Or do you feel like you're a multitasker going all over? Or do you?
Interesting question. Yeah. I don't multitask in early in the morning and late at night. So during the day, I'm forced to, but I always feel like I get a lot more done if I'm working before the phone starts ringing in the morning, and then when everyone else shuts down at night. So I like those. I know that I get more done when it's an off time. No question.
That's how I am too.
Well, and people create off times during the day too, right? They put their phone on do not disturb, or they leave it in another room, or try and be present. It's not easier said than done when you've got a lot of things that need your attention, but it's a skill that we can all practice.
I agree with though, like Lee Stern was our team leader when we were at KW. And she would say that one of my biggest problems was that I was reactionary to everyone. However, that's one of my greatest strengths. I did not listen to her because I can't tell you how frustrating it is when you are a busy agent. You've got so many things going on during the day and you can't get a hold of another agent because they've got the time blocked so they don't take any calls from 8 to 2. I don't want to be that person.
I'm the same way. I don't turn my phone to do not disturb. The only time that happens is if I forget it. And I leave it there. And that's kind of a nice feeling sometimes, actually. Like, well, nothing I can do about it.
Nothing you can do about it, accept it.
I'm the same way, Lynn. I'm definitely a reactionary, and that's one of my things I'm really working on right now is time blocking and not doing that. Part of the challenge with that do not disturb is if you're calling out and you're hoping people call you back on what you're working on, that makes it a challenge. So I've noticed that, like, it's hard for me to just turn my phone off so I can work on a task, especially if it's something where I'm dialing out in my task.
Yeah, well, when you're expecting responses, then you're expecting to be reactionary too. So that in and of itself can be a time block. You know, you're gonna do that for a while. If they haven't answered you in 2 hours, do you really need to still keep your phone on and wait for them, or can you move on to something else?
Right.
Yeah.
Do you have a focus for us for the week?
Well, the focus I think is obvious, is just to pay attention to the times where we are multitasking and maybe even make some notes. It's like on productivity, and then be purposeful about trying and restructure your morning, even if it's just a couple hours a day. It doesn't have to be the entire day, but get it, like Eric said, a time block. Maybe start with just for this 1 hour. I'm going to really move the needle on this thing that I've been meaning to do for a long time. And I'm saying this because this is something that I want to work on, and I'm just sharing it with you guys. So pick that one thing that you want to move forward. And if you're serious about it, do just that thing for a period of time, whether it's a half an hour, 60 minutes, 90 minutes, like I do with the Brain FM. Say, I'm going to devote this time to one task, and I'm not going to let anything else interrupt me. And then eventually what I'm hoping for me is that just becomes more natural. It becomes my habit, and it's easier to do, and it's not forced. It's just the way I am. Nate, you had raised your hand. I saw, and then you took it off. You changed your mind?
I did, but I can still say it. I'm
Go ahead.
I'm a little bit reactionary too. I can't help myself. But I've learned has helped me, especially in these last few weeks, is I have a notepad that I keep with me like almost all the time now. And when I'm doing a task, I can get because I am reactionary, I can get sidetracked really easy and go do a different task. So keep if I write everything down that I'm doing, like I'm busy doing a list, I write down, and if something else comes up that I need to react to, depending on the urgency, I'll write it down so I have the comfort in my mind that's written down and I'm not going to forget about it doing it. So I can, after I'm completed with one task, I can move on to the next task and get those done. Sometimes they're not always in order, but it helps me with my being productive. Yeah, that's awesome.
I love that, Nate. I've used that before too, because a lot of times like I'll be working on something and something else will pop up in my head, so then I'll switch to go work on that and switch to go work on that. So I keep the list next to me of all the things that I want to get done, or I'll put it on my calendar for a different day. I think that's super helpful if you're someone that we call it ping pongs around.
If I'm going to bed at night and I have a thought that pops in my head, I won't be able to go to sleep because I'm afraid I'm gonna forget it until I get up and write it down. I've got a whiteboard on my wall in my room. I'll get up and write it down.
My brain is so, I can't even explain my brain right now. Like I can have a thought that I need to do something that's very important, and I'll go to sit in front of my computer, and then I cannot remember for the life of me what it was that I was needed to do till like tomorrow. Sometimes it'll pop back in my head again. And I'm like, I need to have a notepad hanging on me that I can stop and write down what I'm thinking, because those thoughts are not sticking with me. And so it's just crazy, absolutely crazy.
So Kim, use your note app on your phone and just open that up and voice text it.
Okay.
When
Okay,
you're
I'll do
thinking-
that.
Yeah, it's like
'Cause it's
dictate to
crazy.
yourself.
Because if another thought pops into my head, it's the other thought's just gone, completely gone.
So there's only room for one or two.
There's only one room for a couple. Yep.
Gotcha. I'm like that too.
So, well, we're past time. So anybody can go that wants to go, anybody that wants to stay. We've got agent attraction we'll talk about a little bit. If Eric's got anything that he would like to talk about, planned or anything. We've got agent attraction. And he might have gotten on the phone.
Eric's multitasking.
I know he's multitasking.
A little bit. Yeah, I would like to share something real quick too. It's kind of basic. Been thinking a lot about what agents really need right now, and a lot of what agents need and looking for is a tribe, right? We've got a great tribe of people. And I think, just sharing that and getting people to see that not only is EXP different, but we're different as a group of people, and our leadership and camaraderie is really incredible here. So one thing that I'm really working on is, first of all, if you don't have a list of all the agents that that would be step number one. Make sure that you have a spreadsheet of all the agents you've ever done a transaction with, agents that you like, and start giving to them just say, I'm going to send a message to every single one of them at least once every 2 weeks of a little update or an invite. So like Sydney's class is perfect. Next week on the market update is awesome. And then we just had a great call from our founder, Glenn, just a couple days ago. Maybe it was last week. It was last week. And I actually, you can share that link if you like. It's a YouTube link of that call. And it had, Glenn and Brent and just all the top leaders of EXP talking about what they're doing to help agents sell more real estate and where EXP is going. There's nothing wrong with sending that to an agent you've had some discussions with and saying, I know you've heard a lot about what's going on in the market and what's going on with EXP. I just wanted to share you kind of what our brokerage is doing in the future and how bright it looks. Thought you might be interested in learning a little more about it. But, just make it intentional to give and invite to things that can create some value to agents and be completely detached from the outcome of where, if they come over or if they join. It's just be of a giving mindset to sincerely help other agents that may be struggling right now, may be looking for something, looking for more, and they don't know where to look. So that's kind of my message is be intentional about it. And a few weeks ago when we had, Matt Ashby on, he gets paid revenue share like a business because he treats it like a business. He makes sure that when new information comes out about EXP, news, big brokerages that make the switch, he sends it out to everybody on his warm list that he's talked to about EXP to make sure that they know what's going on. So is he out there cold calling agents? No, he's just keeping them informed, and the timing becomes right when that discussion pops up. And then he's the one that they reach out to because he's the most active. So yeah, that's my message, is just give and invite to, the events that make sense. And that's why I was asking Jeff what our capacity was for that next week at Edge too, because that would be a fantastic one to invite to.
Mhm.
So I have a question, Eric, where do you put your list? Are you putting your list on the CRM Grow?
Yes. I also have just a Google spreadsheet.
Okay.
And yeah, that I've had for a long time.
Kim, that's something that I listen to, because for some of us, the CRM or the spreadsheet or whatever, it doesn't work. I've heard like some very, very successful people still use the index cards. So just depending on how your mind works, just as long as you're doing it, right?
Right.
So
I
I had,
can't lose it if it's online.
what'd you say, Kim? You can't what?
I can't lose it if it's online.
Oh, yeah.
That's so true.
Lynn just mentioned the index cards, and it reminded me when I first started at Keller Williams, I was talking to a guy and he was showing me his file box. And he's got his whole SOI in it, and each file is a month. And so he's got index cards and papers or whatever with different people in his SOI in January, and he's got a specific tasks he wants to do for that group in January, but then he moves that whole group of people to another month, and he rotates them. So he just opens it up, and inside that month, those are the people he's contacting that month, and he's just spread them out throughout the year. And if he's doing a follow-up, then he has a rotating system where he just moves them to the next month, like say from January to March or whatever, and then he has another task to do them. And it had nothing to do with the CRM, nothing to do with the computer. It was well, not a file box, it was a file drawer in his desk, and he just moved people through the system. Good work.
Well, and even agents that you guys have worked with, or maybe you haven't even worked with them, you've just seen them, congratulating them on an achievement or something you see. We just had the Distinguished Agent Awards come out. Some people posted it on their Facebook that they got it. Some people don't. And then we'll have the top 500. But also you can see that some brokerages or people like to post their achievements. It tells you a lot about them when they do that. It means that they like to get that acknowledgement, and so, or that recognition. And so reaching out to them and personally just, saying something nice to them would be a good thing to do.
You guys have read Ninja Selling, part of their system, I guess, in keeping track of people is what Lynn was talking about. There's 3 different ways that you can always find a way to contact people. It's a thank you, or a thinking of you, or a congratulations. Having those 3 things, and Ashley and I have cards in there on my desk that are already pre-printed in a colorful font on the front that say those 3 things. One of them is a thank you card, and it's blank on the inside. It doesn't say anything. That's where I do my handwritten notes. So thank you, thinking of you. I mean, literally the card can say, hey, you popped into my mind the other day. I just thought I'd reach out and say, hey, how you doing? Say hi to the family. Boom, boom. And that's a connection you make with people. Say, oh man, it was super nice of him to send that. And then congratulations, like you said, if somebody's posting about that stuff, just
I think that's a good
congratulating.
time block. Honestly, because even if you listen to Tony Robbins, he says that one of the first things he does every day is he reaches out. I don't know if it's 3 or 5 people, but he just reaches out to like 5 people a day and says something to them.
One of the books I read recently does that within a team culture within the employees. Is they're tasked with sending 2 emails to coworkers every morning, and just
About something they saw that they did, right?
Acknowledging them in some fashion. And so it just creates this symmetry in this community. I thought it was pretty interesting.
The bike guy that's here in Utah?
No?
No.
Oh, you're talking about Fazari mountain bikes?
Fazari.
No, it was in a book. I can't keep everything straight. I need to write down where I hear things, but I learned it.
Right, anybody have anything else? Oh, I think I have a quote. It's all the way at the end. I think I have a quote for you guys.
I can jump to it.
It's productivity is never an accident. It is always the result of a commitment to excellence, intelligent planning, and focused effort. There you go. I'll leave you with that.
Focused effort, that goes along with my time.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Move that.
Thanks for hopping on, everybody.
Thank you. You guys have a good day.
Have a good
See
day.
ya.
Have a great week.
Thank you.
Talk to you
Have a good
soon.
one.
Love you guys. Reach out if I can do anything
Love you too.
for you.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.